Hi, this is Ron Turner of Frontrunner 2020. Welcome to this episode of the Frontrunner 2020 series.
First, let's keep in mind that country folks will know who lives up the road 5 miles from each other. And also, they usually know who is Democrat and who is Republican and so forth. I would bet that in large cities, you don't know your neighbor 3 houses down on either side because it is a different kind of communications, different lifestyles. And what would be seemingly nosy in the city might just be friendly and neighborly in the country. These are some of the problems you will have to deal with if you're running in a large rural area. But keep in mind, your biggest vote will still be in the cities. But it just depends on if you need the rural vote to win also. Find out who the chairperson of the executive board of the party and get a list of all boards and chairpersons, home addresses, phone numbers, and so forth. Visit each board member at home first. At this time, it is very important to ask them for some help. This is the key word, Ron. It's very important. You got to say the word help. I need your help. Mm-hmm. Also, visit them at their monthly meeting as a group. Now, while visiting the chairperson's home, ask them to help you get a list of precinct people that are captains and chairs in the precincts. This will help you mapping out your visits later. Also include in all the visits all your party people that is paid by state to help in the election process. They'd be there to vote. These names can be found by everyone who is over the election process in your area. And just ask them for it. It is public record. While you are in their home, ask them to help you with people that they think you should go see. This is usually the important people that does political work. Keep a list, and then you will put them in their prospective area later when mapping out your places to visit. This will save you time and a lot of money. And money is what everyone will be needing. It doesn't matter, Ron, if you don't have the money for a campaign, you're in tough shape for a campaign. Go to the precinct levels and do some of the same things. See your precinct captains and ask for help and write down the names and so forth. They will give you names and put these into your mapping area systems for visits and for sending out mail to them later. Just remember this. If you go to a regular voter's home before you check with your captain in an area, and he sees you or she sees you, finds it out you have been there and you didn't see them first, you will probably lose the county or the country or the city person's support, and especially in the country, because they have been used to people showing them respect before going to the other voters. It's kind of like what we call ego rights, and it is ego rights, but it is respect, and I've noticed that when you go before and they see you going somewhere else, you might be going next door and not know it, then you're in trouble. They will give you sometimes names that should always be thought of as people for donations and put them down in different folders for fundraising also. This is usually handled by the volunteer coordinator. Now, before you go see Floyd the barber, here's some of the other positions you need to fill when the volunteers are available. Most people don't really have an idea if it's their first time as to what makes a well-greased campaign besides money, and it's people and volunteers. First, you will need a fundraising director, a deputy fundraising director, communications and events director, volunteer coordinator, scheduling and time management director, internet web tech director, internet web data manager, internet Facebook, clipping service director, phone banking director, canvassing director, absentee director, special needs coordinator, union endorsement director, new registrations director, veterans committee coordinator, youth director, sportsmen and ladies action committee chair, agriculture committee director, education and teachers association coordinator, entertainment committee, senior committee, women's coordinator director, school vote director, fire department coordinator, bus driver coordinator. And these are when you have a well-greased campaign, but it's hard to get them all filled. But I have had campaigns where that I have too many volunteers and they don't get one of those positions. But when you fill these positions, you automatically pick up a large portion of the people. And these people will be able to have influence on other people. So it really does do good, in especially in rural campaigns. Here's the best advice I can give you about rural area campaigns. This includes small cities around 10,000 or under with rural country connection to the city, districts, or areas with mountains or hills. You must set up each district like it's the only place you're running so that you can micromanage all the districts. Now, here in Muhlenberg, and I know a lot of places are different, but here in Muhlenberg County in Kentucky, we have 5 magisterial districts, and I micromanage each district. Although there is an exception, you don't need all the directors, but you do need some. You will need a district deputy field director to oversee each district and report back to the manager or candidate with the information that the precinct and how each area is advancing. You'll also need a district phone bank director, a district canvassing director, and a district yard sign director. These will you'll need to appoint them, and they will need to be able to appoint some other people that will help them, just like in yard signs. Sometimes you need 3 or 4 people putting them out in one area. Like I say, under each director, they shall appoint which volunteers to the position that needs to be filled, providing that it's okay with the volunteer, and it is better to ask them what they want to do before placing them into positions. When micromanaging, it is best that you name the districts or numbers, whatever it is actually called in those areas, like 5 is 5 here, 4 is 4, 4th magisterial district, or 5th magisterial district, or 3rd, or whatever it might would be. Now, you might have commissions or whatever, so it'd be the 1st commission or 3rd, or whatever it might would be. But you need sections when you have a couple, 3 large cities, like 10,000, and then lots of rural area that would have like hills and mountains and stuff of that type. You will need to run the whole complete race just like as if you was running one small area. You micromanage. Now, you're going to get the word out to the people in the country better, stuff of that type. And you can tell what you need more so. If one district is really running good and one is not, then you might have to put your people, your volunteers over in one other area to pull it back up, get it going. So micromanaging is the word, and it is the key for rural stuff.
You know, Roadblock, there's one thing you told me about that the other day that I like, or that kind of explains it, is that you also got just the logistical issue of the distances where, like, maybe a city campaign could go around between different neighborhoods in 30 minutes. I can drive over there. But, you know, something like this is you got to have independent campaigns just for those practical reasons.
That's correct. What it is, you know, of course, it doesn't take a smart manager to know that there's more votes in a city than it is right into edge in most rural areas. But the difference is this: if you are running against incumbents, or if you're running against another campaign person that is running in the same city, that lives in the same area that you're running in, you have to pick up your votes from somewhere else. And the best place to do it is in rural areas. So it can make the difference between winning and losing. And whenever a race gets within 4 points either way, you better have the city in good shape, decent shape, but you've got to go to the county to win the election, or you have to do something different. So I've seen where that the county's really, the hill area sometimes just might be your winner. You know?